Did you ever watch a show that just felt like family? You know, the kind of show where the characters didn't just feel like actors on a screen, they felt like people you actually knew, people who could have lived right next door, or maybe even like someone you worked with. For so many people, that's exactly what the show Alice was. It wasn't just a TV sitcom. It was comfort. It was warmth. It was a reminder that even in the everyday grind of life, there could still be humor, friendship, and those little moments that stick with you forever. And in the middle of all of that magic was one star who absolutely stood out. Polly Holliday. The woman who brought the unforgettable Flo to life. The woman who gave us one of the most iconic catchphrases in television history. And now, it's with a heavy heart that I share this, Polly Holliday has passed away at the age of 88. Hearing news like this, it doesn't just hit as a headline, does it? It hits differently. Because it feels like losing a piece of our own past. It feels like saying goodbye to someone who once made us laugh, someone who gave us comfort when we needed it most. And if you grew up watching Polly on screen, this probably feels personal. But here's the thing. Today isn't just about the sadness of losing her. It's about remembering her. It's about celebrating everything she gave us, the laughs, the sass, the charm, the lessons we didn't even realize we were learning from her along the way. And I promise, as we go through her story together, you'll see that her life and career weren't just impressive, they were inspiring in ways you might not expect. So let's talk about Polly. Who was she really? Of course, the role that made her a household name was Florence Jean Castleberry, Flo, on Alice. And if you remember Flo, then you remember that iconic line. The one people still quote to this day, "Kiss my grits." It wasn't just a throwaway line. It became a cultural phenomenon. It became part of everyday conversation. People would walk around saying it to each other, and it felt like Flo wasn't just a character on TV anymore. She felt like that witty friend or coworker you couldn't help but love. But here's what's so interesting. Polly Holliday wasn't an overnight star. Her success didn't just fall into her lap. Before she ever stepped into Mel's Diner, she spent years working in theater. She did the grind that most people never see, the rehearsals, the small roles, the endless auditions. It's the kind of work that can break a person down, the kind that makes a lot of people give up. But Polly didn't give up. She kept going, and she kept believing in herself. And eventually, it paid off. That role as Flo wasn't just a character, it was her breakthrough. It was proof that sometimes the biggest successes in life come later than. And honestly, isn't that such an encouraging thought? So many of us feel like if we don't achieve something big by a certain age, then it's too late. But Polly's story shows that's just not true. She didn't hit her stride until her 40s. Imagine that. At a time when some people think the best years are behind them, Polly was just getting started. And doesn't that make you wonder what might still be ahead for each of us, no matter where we are in life? And people loved her so much as Flo that she even got her own spin-off show, Flo. Now, think about that for a second. That doesn't happen for just anybody. Only the most beloved characters get that kind of chance. You have to really strike a chord with people, you have to be someone audiences can't get enough of. And Polly? She earned it. She didn't just play a role, she created someone unforgettable. Flo wasn't just a waitress on a sitcom. She was a force. She was sharp, funny, independent, and she stood out in a way that made her instantly memorable. When you think about it, spin-offs can be risky. Not every character, no matter how good they are, can carry an entire show. But Flo was different. Fans connected with her so strongly on Alice that giving her the spotlight felt natural. It was like she stepped out of the supporting cast and into her own story, and people were ready to follow her there. And that speaks volumes about what Polly brought to the table. She didn't just give you laughs, she gave you someone you wanted to see succeed. But here's the beautiful part. Polly's career didn't stop there. Not even close. She kept surprising fans long after Alice and Flo. She popped up in all kinds of shows and movies. And if you've been watching television or movies for the past few decades, you've probably seen her in more places than you realize. Think about Gremlins. That movie is such a classic, right? A little mix of horror, comedy, and chaos. And there was Polly, fitting right into the madness, reminding everyone that she could hold her own in any kind of story. Then fast forward to Mrs. Doubtfire, another. Now, here's something people don't always talk about in Hollywood: being typecast. A lot of actors really worry about it. They think, if I get too famous for one role, people will never see me as anything else. And let's be honest, that happens a lot. Some actors get stuck. They become so tied to one character that their careers stall out. And yes, it can be tough. It can even be heartbreaking for some. But Polly? She showed everyone that it doesn't have to be the end of the road. She proved that if you put enough heart into your work, people don't just see the character, they see you. They see the talent, the presence, the spark you bring to everything you do. And that's why she was able to step into so many different roles. That's why audiences welcomed her every single time, whether she was Flo in a diner, a character in a family comedy, or part of a big movie. They didn't box her in, because she never let them. And that's such an inspiring lesson, isn't it? It reminds us that no matter what labels people try to put on us, we have the power to define who we are. We can grow. We can evolve. We can keep surprising people, just like Polly did. And let's circle back to something else, because it's one of the most important parts of Polly's story, the lesson about age. You see, Polly wasn't just starting her career when she was young and fresh out of school. She wasn't one of those stars who found fame in her 20s. She was older. She was wiser. She had lived some life. She had gone through experiences that shaped her, that gave her a deeper understanding of the world. And maybe that's exactly what made her performances so believable. Maybe that's why Flo resonated so deeply with people. Because Polly wasn't pretending to understand life, she had lived it. She knew about hard work. She knew about setbacks. She knew about resilience. And you could feel that every time she delivered a line. Think about it. When Flo said something sassy or heartfelt, it didn't just sound like a joke from a script. It felt like truth. It felt like something your own aunt, neighbor, or coworker might say. That's because Polly infused her characters with authenticity. She didn't just act, she connected. And that connection is rare. That's why she stood out. And beyond her work, you know what people loved about Polly? Her humor. She had this special mix that's hard to describe but easy to recognize. A little sass, a little sarcasm, a touch of toughness, but always wrapped in kindness. It's not an easy balance. A lot of people can be funny. A lot of people can be tough. But to be both at the same time, and to still. That's why people still talk about her today, not just as a character, but as someone who touched their lives. Not just as a star, but as someone who made them feel seen. Because when she was on screen, you didn't feel like she was acting. You felt like she was being real with you. And isn't that what makes certain actors timeless? So yes, today we're saying goodbye to Polly Holliday. And yes, it's sad. It's always sad to lose someone who gave us so much. But instead of focusing only on the sadness, let's hold on to everything she left behind. Let's remember the laughs she gave us, the countless smiles, the little lessons tucked into her performances. Let's remember that she showed us it's never too late to start. She showed us that heart matters more than fame. She showed us that humor, real, honest humor, can carry us through almost anything. And maybe most importantly, she showed us that the best characters aren't just written on paper. They're brought to life by the people who play them. Now I'd love to turn this to you. What's your favorite memory of Polly Holliday? Was it that unforgettable, "kiss my grits" line on Alice? Or maybe it was seeing her in Gremlins, where she took you by surprise in the middle of all the chaos. Or maybe it was Mrs. Doubtfire, where she popped up and reminded you all over again why you loved her. Drop your favorite memory in the comments. I'd really love to read them, and I think it'll be a beautiful way for all of us to celebrate her together. And if you want to keep remembering the legends who shaped television and film, there's another video right here on the channel that dives into the surprising stories of some of the biggest stars from the past. These are the people who built the shows and movies that shaped us, and their stories are just as inspiring as Polly's. I think you'll really enjoy it. And hey, if Polly ever made you smile, even once, would you mind giving this video a like? It's such a simple way to honor her. And if you enjoy revisiting these kinds of stories, don't forget to hit subscribe. That way, you'll never miss the chance to relive these special memories. And if you know someone who loved Alice, share this video with them. Because legends like Polly Holliday deserve to be remembered. And we can keep her memory alive together. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, isn't it? The people who made us laugh. The ones who gave us comfort. The ones who reminded us of what really matters. Polly Holliday wasn't just a star. She wasn't just Flo. She was more than that. She was family. And family? Family never really leaves us.